My wife once looked me straight in the eyes, smiled, and said, "You weren't the love of my life. You were the backup plan. I married you because I'm getting old." Hello, Reddit I plus here. I simply nodded. I'll remember that. She laughed, convinced she'd won. 3 weeks later, she came home from a luxury wellness retreat to discover I'd erased every trace of our life together. No screaming, no dramatic confrontation. Just silence. And silence hurt her, far more than any argument ever could. For context, I'm 48. My wife, Nicole, is 43. We'd been together for 5 years and married for 3. After my divorce, I wasn't looking for fireworks. I wanted peace. Nicole seemed charming, affectionate, and ambitious. She constantly talked about building a future together. I believed every word. 3 weeks ago, that illusion shattered. I'd left work early because of a migraine. The house was unusually quiet except for Nicole talking upstairs. She didn't know I was home. Her office door was cracked open. She was on speakerphone with her best friend. At first I wasn't paying attention, then I heard my name. I swear, Nicole laughed. If I had met him 10 years earlier, I wouldn't have looked twice. My feet froze. Her friend chuckled. "So why marry him?" Nicole answered without hesitation. "Because reality hit. I was getting older. The men I actually wanted weren't calling anymore. And he was stable." More laughter. I settled. That's the truth. Her friend asked quietly, "Does he know that?" "Oh, please." Nicole laughed again. "He worships me. He honestly thinks he won the lottery." My chest tightened. She kept going. "He pays every bill. The house, vacations, shopping, beauty treatments, everything. Honestly, he's easier than dating successful guys. They expect something back." Her friend hesitated. "Don't you feel guilty?" "Guilty? Why? I invested my youth. The least he can do is finance the rest of my life." Then came the sentence I'll never forget. "Men like him should be grateful. Women like me even give them attention." I stood there completely numb. 5 years. Every anniversary, every vacation, every late night conversation. Apparently, I'd never been her husband. I'd been her retirement plan. I quietly walked back outside and sat in my truck for almost an hour. When I finally walked in through the front door, she greeted me with a huge smile. "There you are. I was thinking we should try that expensive steakhouse tonight." My treat. Her treat? With the credit card I paid every month, I smiled. "Sounds perfect." Dinner was surreal. She talked about remodeling my kitchen, replacing furniture, planning another European vacation, ordering another luxury skincare package. Everything was ours whenever my wallet was involved. That night, while applying nearly 40 minutes worth of expensive creams I'd bought, she looked at me through the mirror. "You know I love you, right?" "I'm sure. I just hope you appreciate what you have." "I do," she smirked. "Good." Then she added, "I could have married my old boyfriend if I'd wanted. The same boyfriend who dumped her for a woman 15 years younger. I settled for you because I was getting older." She shrugged. "Don't ever forget that." "I won't." She smiled, completely satisfied. "Oh, by the way," she held up her phone. "I booked the 5-day luxury wellness retreat. I looked at the price. $4,000. You don't mind paying, do you? When do you leave?" "Tuesday morning." "Perfect." She kissed my cheek. "You're sweet, even if you're not exactly handsome." She giggled. She thought it was adorable. I realized she'd never respected me. Not once. Nicole made one enormous mistake. She assumed everything around her belonged to both of us. It didn't. The house, mine before we met. The SUV, purchased by me. Registered only in my name. Insurance, mine. Utilities, mine. Streaming services, mine. Credit cards. She was only an authorized user. She worked part-time at a boutique, earning barely enough for lunches with friends. I paid for literally everything else. She contributed almost nothing financially, yet somehow acted like she was doing me a favor by existing. Tuesday morning, she rolled her suitcase outside. "Don't destroy my house while I'm gone." "My house. I'll try." She kissed me. "I deserve this vacation after dealing with stressful people." I smiled. "You certainly do." The second her rideshare disappeared around the corner, I called a moving company, then my attorney, then my real estate agent. The timing couldn't have been better. I'd quietly listed the house weeks earlier after hearing that phone conversation. An investor had already made a cash offer. Closing had been scheduled while Nicole would still be at the resort. Everything happened fast. My belongings were moved into a downtown apartment overlooking the river. Next came hers, every purse, every dress, every pair of designer shoes, every expensive cosmetic, every piece of jewelry she'd purchased herself. Everything was carefully packed into labeled boxes and placed inside a climate-controlled storage unit. Nothing damaged, nothing stolen, nothing thrown away. I'm not vindictive. I just didn't want her living in my next chapter. I canceled every card she'd been using, removed her from my insurance, changed every password, transferred every utility, forwarded my mail. By Wednesday, she texted me, "This place is incredible. Everyone here is desperately trying to look 25 again. Glad you're enjoying yourself. Thursday afternoon, she called. My card got declined. That's strange. Can you send money? I'm tied up. She sounded annoyed. It's embarrassing. I imagine it is. Friday morning, I signed the closing documents. The house officially belonged to someone else. Saturday, her panic started. None of her payment methods worked. She called 12 times. Then her older sister called. What is going on? Nicole is freaking out. I know. What happened? Reality. She didn't understand. She would soon. Sunday evening, my phone exploded. Over 80 missed calls, dozens of voice messages. Then the texts started. Where are you? Why is the house empty? What is this storage key? This isn't funny. Call me right now. The neighbors said strangers own the house. Finally, she borrowed her sister's phone. I answered. What did you do? I moved. You sold a house? I sold my house. Our house. No, my house. Her breathing became frantic. Where am I supposed to live? I hear your sister has a guest room. You can't do this. I already did. My things. They're safe. What about my car? You mean my SUV? Silence. I need transportation. That's unfortunate. You've ruined my life. No. You built your life on someone you openly admitted you didn't respect. Then I repeated her own words. You said you settled for me. Another silence. You heard that? Every word. She began crying. I didn't mean it. You meant every syllable. I was joking. You weren't laughing. I love you. No. You loved comfort. I can change. I believe you. She sounded hopeful. I just won't be around to watch it. I hung up. Over the next month, reality hit Nicole harder than I ever could have. Without my income, she couldn't afford the luxury apartment she tried renting. She moved into her sister's basement. The boutique cut her hours. Her expensive beauty routine disappeared almost overnight. The designer handbags she loved posting online slowly began appearing on resale websites. Mutual friends started asking uncomfortable questions. Nicole tried telling everyone I'd abandoned her without warning. Unfortunately for her, she forgot that she had sent me hundreds of messages admitting exactly what she'd said after realizing I'd overheard the conversation. She begged, apologized, promised counseling, promised she'd changed. I never responded. The divorce wasn't dramatic. There was no courtroom showdown, no shouting, just paperwork. Since the house, investments, retirement accounts, and most of my assets had been established before the marriage, there wasn't much for her to claim. She walked away with what was legally hers. Nothing more. 6 months later, I ran into one of our old friends at a charity event. He smiled awkwardly. You know, Nicole says losing you was the biggest mistake of her life. I laughed. Really? She says she finally realized how much you loved her. I looked into my coffee cup for a second before answering. No. She realized how much my lifestyle loved her. That's the difference. People often confuse love with comfort until comfort disappears. The funny thing is, I never got revenge. I never humiliated her online. I never exposed her to friends. I never insulted her. I simply believed her. When someone tells you exactly how they see you, don't waste your energy arguing. Believe them. Then quietly make sure they have to live with the consequences of their own words.